The FBI and local authorities found 719 kilos, that's over 1,500 pounds, hidden inside of shipments of blackberries in Atlanta and Hall County.
The FBI agents found another refrigerated truck with another blackberry shipment stuffed with 300 kilos of meth.
Federal authorities have executed one of the largest drug seizures in North Georgia's history. A massive takedown led by the DEA, FBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and the Hall County Sheriff's Office. Together, these agencies dismantled a sophisticated methamphetamine trafficking pipeline that had been operating across state lines. Investigators recovered 1,585 pounds of crystal methamphetamine, hidden inside refrigerated produce trucks loaded with crates of blackberries, a haul worth more than $22.5 million on the street. This was no low-level street dealer operation. Authorities confirmed it was a fully coordinated cartel-controlled smuggling network moving meth directly from Mexico into Atlanta and across the southeastern United States. The investigation began months earlier, when officers encountered a suspect carrying roughly $4,000 in rubber-banded cash. That seemingly minor discovery eventually led agents to a much larger stash, nearly $380,000 in bound currency, about 21 kilograms of suspected fentanyl, a money-counting machine, vacuum sealing equipment used for packaging bricks of narcotics, and a Glock 19 pistol. These findings triggered a deeper federal probe into a Mexican drug trafficking group that specialized in using produce shipments as camouflage. These trucks were not random vehicles. They were refrigerated semi-trailers transporting crates of blackberries, and beneath the fruit, hidden in expertly concealed compartments, agents discovered hundreds of kilos of crystal meth. Intelligence gathered by federal analysts indicated that this distribution route was being used by criminal groups tied to the Sinaloa Cartel, one of the most violent and well-structured drug organizations in the world. On November 21, 2025, shortly before dawn, federal teams launched their operation. With warrants in hand, agents moved on to separate locations at the same moment. The first target was a residence on Custer Avenue in Atlanta. Outside the home was a refrigerated produce truck. When officers opened the cargo area, they found boxes of blackberries that concealed 419 kilograms, 923 pounds of crystal meth. At the second location, a property on McCaver Road in Hall County, investigators found another truck using the exact same concealment method. This vehicle held an additional 300 kilograms, 661 pounds of meth. Although both trucks appeared to be harmless produce shipments, they were carrying deadly cargo intended for widespread distribution. At the Hall County site, a narcotics canine quickly alerted to the presence of drugs. Once investigators opened the boxes, they found rows of plastic-wrapped methamphetamine bricks stacked professionally beneath the fruit. The packaging mirrored the industrial-level methods used by Mexican cartel couriers, leaving no doubt that this was a major cartel operation from beginning to end. Each pound seized represented thousands of potential doses, and every brick stopped meant entire communities protected from the devastation of meth addiction. By intercepting this shipment, federal authorities cut off a primary narcotics pipeline feeding cities and towns throughout the Southeast. 2 men were taken into custody as part of the operation, including a Mexican national living in Gainesville. Officials say he was the courier responsible for transporting the meth from Texas into Georgia. He was not present at the truck site at the time of the raid. Agents tracked him down later at his residence near Browns Bridge Road. He is now being held without bond and faces felony-level meth trafficking charges. At the Atlanta residence, officers seized 3 firearms, further underscoring that the drug operation was backed by violence and armed protection. High-level drug trafficking always involves weapons, and cartel workers are prepared to use force to defend their product and money. Federal officials believe both shipments originated from cartel-controlled warehouses in Mexico and were routed through Texas before reaching Georgia. Using refrigerated produce trucks is a well-known cartel tactic. They exploit legitimate freight systems, real agricultural companies, and establish shipping routes to conceal massive drug loads. Intelligence gathered throughout the investigation consistently pointed toward the Sinaloa Cartel, the same organization once led by Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. Although El Chapo is now serving a life sentence in the U.S., his cartel continues to operate with extreme efficiency. It dominates meth production and trafficking throughout North America. Sinaloa's distribution network is so advanced that they frequently use what law enforcement calls blind shipments. In these cases, even the drivers themselves sometimes have no idea they are transporting drugs. Cartels hide narcotics within legitimate cargo, so effectively that a driver may believe they're delivering nothing more than produce. But through extensive surveillance, wiretaps, and intelligence sharing, federal agents were able to track these shipments and intercept them before they reach their final destinations. The Sinaloa Cartel is not the only group operating this way. Their rivals, including the extremely violent CJNG Cartel de Jalisco Nueva Generation, are also fighting for dominance over U.S. drug routes. These cartels have transformed American cities, including Atlanta, into strategic battlegrounds. Their methods have become industrialized, resembling global logistics companies more than traditional criminal gangs. This seizure, totaling 719 kilograms, 1,585 pounds, stands among the largest methamphetamine busts ever recorded in the southeastern United States. According to the DEA's Atlanta division, the street value of the haul exceeded $22.5 million. GBI Special Agent Ken Howard summarized the impact perfectly. Every pound removed from circulation means thousands of lives saved. This was not user-level product. These were cartel-scale quantities capable of devastating entire regions. Hall County Sheriff Gerald Couch praised the joint operation, emphasizing the importance of cooperation between agencies. He stated, "This bust shows what happens when local deputies, federal intelligence, and state agencies work together. The cartel may think it can hide its poison in fruit, but we will peel back every layer until it's exposed." His words reflect the determination of every officer involved. This was not the effort of a single agency. It was a coordinated strike powered by intelligence sharing, teamwork, and unified resolve. The D brought federal narcotics expertise, the FBI provided intelligence capabilities, the GBI contributed statewide resources, and the Hall County Sheriff's Office supplied crucial local knowledge. Together, they dismantled a cartel pipeline and delivered a powerful message. No matter how well the cartels hide their poison, law enforcement will find it. When federal agencies work together, the results are impossible to ignore. The FBI has already confirmed that more arrests are on the way. This investigation is far from over. It stretches across multiple states and involves dozens of suspects connected to a massive drug pipeline. The 2 men arrested in Georgia are only the beginning. Federal agents are now following leads that run from Mexico to Texas, to Georgia, and beyond. They are tracking money trails, communication patterns, and cross-border shipment routes. Every piece of evidence taken from this bust is now under analysis. Phone logs are being examined. Financial records are being traced. Investigators want everyone involved, from low-level drivers to high-ranking coordinators. The goal isn't just to arrest couriers. The goal is to dismantle the entire criminal operation from top to bottom. Operations like this take months of patience. Agents conducted long-term surveillance, monitored calls through wiretaps, gathered intelligence from multiple sources, and watched shipment patterns carefully. They studied how trucks moved, where they stopped, and who interacted with them. Finally, on November 21, 2025, the timing was perfect. Both trucks were fully loaded with meth and ready for distribution. If agents had moved too soon, they might have missed everything. If they had waited even a little longer, the drugs would already be on the streets. But they struck at the exact right moment, catching the shipment in transit, with all the evidence required to build strong federal cases. This is the message to the cartels. No smuggling method is foolproof. No cover is perfect. Law enforcement is watching. The traffickers believed that hiding meth inside BlackBerry shipments was a clever idea. Produce trucks, cross state lines, every day they blend in with normal commerce. But agents detected the pattern. They connected the dots, and they shut the whole pipeline down. Modern drug enforcement depends on coordination, patience, and advanced technology. These operations require agents willing to put in long hours, travel across states, and follow leads wherever they go. One of the key heroes of Operation Blackberry Veil was a K9 narcotics unit. At the McVer Road location, a detection dog alerted agents to the presence of meth inside the truck's cargo. These K9 units can smell through packaging, plastic, and even fresh fruit. Once the dog alerted, agents knew exactly where to look. Beneath the blackberries, they found the meth bricks. Without that dog, the search could have taken hours longer. This bust is only one battle in a much larger war against transnational cartels. Groups like the Sinaloa Cartel and CJNG operate like multinational corporations. They have supply chains, distribution networks, chemists, engineers, armed enforcement teams, and sophisticated smuggling strategies. They're capable of producing tons of meth every month in industrial-scale These cartels use trucks, cars, tunnels, drones, and legitimate cargo to move their product. After crossing into the U.S., the drugs are delivered to storage units and warehouses, then distributed nationwide. The violence connected to these organizations is staggering. In Mexico, cartels have killed tens of thousands. They target police, judges, journalists, and civilians. Their influence and brutality spill into American communities as well. Methamphetamine destroys lives. It devastates families, harms children, increases crime, and drains community resources. Every pound that hits the streets creates new victims. That is why this operation matters. Stopping 1,585 pounds of meth means preventing thousands of overdoses. robberies, assaults, and tragedies. But law enforcement cannot win this fight alone. As long as demand exists, cartels will continue producing and smuggling meth. Reducing the problem requires addiction treatment, education, prevention programs, and stronger communities. Operation Blackberry Veil is just one chapter in a long, ongoing battle. As one federal agent said, the Sinaloa Cartel can disguise its drugs, but it cannot disguise its greed. And greed always leaves a trail. Greed drives the cartels. But every risk they take leaves evidence that eventually leads to busts like this one. Phone calls can be monitored. Shipments can be tracked. Money trails can be followed. The message to the cartels is simple. You cannot hide forever. You cannot operate with impunity. Law enforcement is watching, waiting, and ready. This $22.5 million seizure proves it. Those 1,585 pounds of meth will never reach the streets. Those trucks filled with blackberries will never become vehicles of death. And the fight continues.